Okay, Deanna, so we just completed a coaching cycle, and I just wanted to, get your thoughts on how do you think it went?
Okay, I'd be glad to share those with you. My perception of our co-teaching or collaboration was I was very pleased, very impressed with how it went. I couldn't have imagined it being as successful as it was, and it was such a learning process for me about myself as well as about my students and about the power that we have in just collaborating, putting two heads together and coming up with these best practices that we know, but sometimes we forget.
Okay, and do you feel like we accomplished your goal?
I do. I was very impressed again with the results from the students and then how I was feeling about what I was able to accomplish with the kids, about my own learning. I feel like I've grown since then, and I've gained a lot of knowledge on how I can do writing with my kids from the experience.
Okay. And so do you remember what your goal, the specific goal that
my
you had
goal,
for your students?
I had two goals. I had one goal was to improve student writing, and then the other goal was to improve my teaching of writing.
Okay.
And I feel like, based on my data, that my kids were able to improve in their writing. Their scores did improve from the fall till now, and then their scores even improved from the district assessment and the authentic assessment we had given on the side, so the additional assessment. So it was showing improvement throughout all the data. And then my personal goal, yes, most definitely I feel like I've grown as a teacher of writing, and that was based on what we did together in class. So yeah, it was I feel like we were successful.
Okay. And let's look at the data and see if we see any patterns or anything that surprised you or anything that you might want to talk about or discuss or that might guide our instruction for what we're going to do next or what we might do next.
Okay, so I realize with my learners, the ELL learners, that the more simple the prompt is, the more clear the prompt is, the better they will be able to respond to that specific prompt. And so the difference between the district writing prompt and the little confusion with the way it was worded for my group and the classroom prompt that we did together, you could see here that that they're consistently high scores though. They were still able to provide their opinion, although it was just a little easier for them to respond to the prompt that we had given because it was straightforward.
Right, yeah, and we had that discussion about when you make the question a little tricky for English language learners, especially when you use the words limited to an hour or the use of electronics should be limited to a use, it became more like a vocabulary test and not whether they could actually respond to an opinion and support it.
And then with this particular data, with the common assessment and our specific prompt that we gave aside from that, I was very impressed with what my kids were capable of churning out.
Yeah.
I was very surprised by the results because, some of the kids who had struggled to form an opinion and support it with evidence at the very beginning and were not understanding these concepts, by the end of our time together, we're turning out 4 and 5 papers.
Right. And do you remember the group that, the specific group, the low group that we worked with? Let's look at their specific scores and see if even they were able to maybe get like a 4, which we would want them to at least get a 4 out of 5.
Passing, right?
So let's